Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, a U.S. government holds $16 billion in Bitcoin and eyes 1 million Bitcoin purchase under a new bill. Russia sidestepping Western sanctions by trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT Tether for oil, says report. And our top story of today, BlackRock now holds over 567,000 Bitcoin, valued at over $47 billion. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is March 14th, 2025, and Bitcoin is in the green, up about 3.5%. The whole market's pumping once again. And let's get right into our Market Watch and Bitcoin technical analysis. Without further ado, we've got Bitcoin at $84,643. Ethereum up 1.75% at 1923. Solana up 8.5%, $135. XRP up 6%, $2.43. Doge up 3% at 17 cents. Getting into the crypto bubbles, we see that 95% of the crypto market is currently in the green, with the exception of Pi, which seems to be always the opposite of what the market's doing. But on a positive note, we have Sui up 9%, Hype up 11%, Kaz up 12.5%, Atom up 9%, Link up 5.5%, Pepe even up 3%. Zooming out to the weekly, we have most things in the green for the week, about 95%. Most things in the red, about 95% of the coins in the red. Doge down 12%, Injective 10%, PLSX 21%, Pi down 20%, Jasmy 14% in the negative, Algorand down 12.9%, Ethereum down 10%. Zooming out to the monthly, we've got, blood red here, 95% in the red for the month. Solana down 31%, Pepe down 30%, Hex down 60%, Jasmy down 38%, Doge down 34%, Hype down 43%, Bonk down 38%. Pretty much a bloodbath, all in the red for the month. Taking a look at our current market cap, we have Bitcoin sitting at 1.675. It just flipped. $1 trillion. Ethereum 231 billion. XRP 141 billion. Solana almost $69 billion. Cardano 26 billion, Doge 26 billion, Tron 21 billion. The total market cap as we sit right now is $2.71 trillion. After the refresh, we have Bitcoin holding 61.75% of that, Ethereum 8.5%, XRP 5.25%, up a bit, and into our crypto fear and greed index, we have neutral today at a 46, yesterday 27 in fear, last week a 28 in fear. Bitcoin will be having, again, in the year 2028, approximately 1,125 days from now, there are 162,141 blocks left to mine until that date, and until the year 2140, where the last Bitcoin is mined, there are 1,162,941 coins left to mine. So that currently means right now, as we speak, there are 19,837 Bitcoin already mined of a total of 21 million. So there's just over, as we said, 1.1 million left to mine. And of course, out of that, this doesn't include any lost coins. And we've already calculated between 4 and 6 million Bitcoins have been lost throughout the years. So even though the total supply is 21 million, we can really estimate that that's about between 16 and 18 million dollar coin. I would call it 15 to 17 million coins total supply for the world all time. Top assets by market cap, we've got gold still over $20 trillion at 28 trillion and 102 million. Apple 3.2 trillion. Nvidia just sitting right at 3 trillion. Microsoft 2.888 trillion. Amazon 2 trillion. Google 2.029 trillion. Silver 1.934 trillion. Saudi Aramco 1.675 trillion. And there's the biddy, and it definitely will be flipping Saudi Aramco by tomorrow, it seems. Bitcoin at 1.667, in fact 1.674, and Saudi Aramco 1.675. And wrapping up the top 10, we have 1.53 trillion for Facebook. Currently you can get 1,183 Satoshis for one fiat US dollar. And let's get into our US dollar, US debt clock. The U.S. national debt currently stands at 36,597,300,000,000. Make that 400 million. So by tomorrow this time, we will have been definitely over the 36,600,000,000 mark. This equals 107,060 per U.S. citizen and 323,048 per U.S. taxpayer like you and I. The U.S. government, despite leaving the stock markets in shambles with the up and down action, with the tariffs one day and the non-tariffs the next day and the tariffs the next day and non-tariffs the next day, S&P up, S&P down, 2% up, 2% down, just major fluctuations, both in the traditional financial markets and really in the biddy and the crypto market altogether. But there holds some good news with the Bitcoin and the U.S. government, and that is that the U.S. government currently holds 16 billion in Bitcoin, and they're eyeing to purchase 1 million Bitcoin under a new bill. The government's crypto portfolio includes 4.6 million worth of Ethereum, stablecoins such as USDC, and yield-bearing assets like DAI and AUSDC. A newly proposed bill introduced by Representative Nick Begich could dramatically increase the government's holding. The House Strategic Bill coin aims to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, implying roughly 5% of the Bitcoin total supply over the next 5 years. If passed, the total value of purchases at today's market price would be just shy of $110 billion. Implications for the market. If the bill passes, the U.S. government's Bitcoin holding would surpass the estimated 1.1 million Bitcoin attributed to Bitcoin's mysterious creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. This would give the government significant influence over market liquidity and price stability, potentially driving up Bitcoin's value and reshaping market dynamics. However, this level of ownership raises concerns about the centralization of a traditionally decentralized asset. Large-scale acquisitions could make the government a price setter in the Bitcoin market, which some argue stands against the original ethos of cryptocurrency. According to data from DeFi Llama, Ethena, we don't care about any of that. So effectively, I agree with this entire article here. Yes, if the U.S. announces they're buying 1 million Bitcoin, expect the price to boom. But that level of ownership does bring up concerns about the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, and will it then become a centralized currency? Both, quite honestly, I feel are bullish. We did see BlackRock take a similar kind of stance and buy, a shitload of Bitcoin when they realized that the price was going to boom, and they did quite well with it, and the price did boom. So, and the price hasn't really gone down from the time the ETFs opened. I think the price is around 60 grand, and then it started just breaking all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. Then we came into the Trump era, again, all-time high, all-time high. So if, they announce that they're buying a crap load of Bitty, I expect that the price will finally go to the moon, as they say. Now, talking about countries adopting Bitcoin, here's an interesting story, and that is that Russia is sidestepping Western sanctions by trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tether for oil. Russia is using cryptocurrencies in oil transactions with India and China, according to new Reuters report. Citing 4 sources with direct knowledge of the matter, the new report claims that some Russian oil companies are using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT Tether to ease the conversion of Indian rupees and Chinese yuan into Russian rubles. The sources, who decline to be identified, claim the practice is a small but growing part of the Russian oil trade. The European Union sanctioned Russia last month in part for previous sanction evasions. Last week, Russian crypto exchange Garantex was forced to suspend operations due to the severity of the sanctions. Dear users, we have bad news. Tether has entered the war against the Russian crypto market and blocked our wallets worth more than 2.5 billion rubles. We're currently suspending temporarily our services, including cryptocurrency withdrawals, while our entire team solves this issue. We are fighting and will not give up. Please note that all USDT in Russian wallets is currently under threat. As always, we are the first but not the last. Garantex team. This is the post they put out. According to one of Reuters' sources, even if sanctions were lifted and the US dollar was available for Russia to trade with again, many would likely continue to use crypto because of the technology's convenience and transaction speed. Sure. Why are you going to wait for your transaction to close in, days or potentially a week or two when you could send the Bitty, or even better yet, if you guys haven't used Lightning, it is exactly what the name implies, Lightning, and basically free for transactions. So if you haven't used the Lightning network, you should definitely give it a shot next time you're going to transfer some funds from one Bitcoin wallet to another. Look for Lightning, and you basically go to the receiver. So if you're going to transfer from one exchange to another, or from one wallet to another, or to Phoenix, or whatever app you're using that uses Lightning, you first go to the app that is going to be receiving the money. You create a I forget what they call it, but basically you click on it and say, create me an invoice. That's what it's called, an invoice. You get the QR code, or this, very long number. You copy it, paste it in the sending app, and basically say, send, and voila. Within a couple seconds, almost instantaneously, the most it's ever taken is about 20 seconds for me. It goes off into the new wallet. You don't get charged a penny, and quick as lightning. Now, speaking of quick as lightning, we've got the world's biggest asset manager who, as quick as lightning, jumped in and just stole the show with their ETF and their Bitcoin purchasing, which we just spoke about has pumped the entire Bitcoin market, we're talking about a year ago now, a year and 2 months. But certainly there's still the price increase that happened then. We still haven't gone down from this point. And they clearly did it, as a lot of us did, right before the halving. And they got in there early. They knew that the price was going to pump, whether they got in or not, and they wanted to get in early, buy it at a cheap price, and that way, they make a profit. So BlackRock now holds over 567,000 Bitcoin, valued at $47 billion. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink previously praised Bitcoin as digital gold and said that most investors should have a small Bitcoin allocation. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with approximately $11.6 trillion in assets under management, currently holds over 567,000 Bitcoin, valued at $48 billion, making the asset manager one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the world. According to Arcram Intelligence, the asset manager's most recent BTC acquisition occurred on March 14th, when a Coinbase Prime wallet transferred 268 Bitcoin valued at over $22 million to the asset manager's iShares Bitcoin ETF iBit wallet. Data from Arcam also shows that the asset manager holds over 1.2 million Ether, valued at over 2.3 billion, or roughly 70 million of the USDC stablecoin, and a long list of altcoins. The Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund are widely cited as the most successful ETF launch in history, as asset managers like BlackRock drive tens of billions in liquidity to the crypto market and disrupt the cyclical capital rotation that characterizes crypto investments. So that's a lot of coin, and there is the chart of their actual ownership. BlackRock, $49 billion in the biddy. So crazy. Who would have thought this a couple years ago? It's all FOMO. BlackRock, they couldn't stay away. It was fear of missing out, and they needed to jump in. And now the next stage of the FOMO is going to start occurring, and that's nation-state adoption. And we've already seen it with the states. We've seen Abu Dhabi pick up. It was $500 million in the biddy. We're seeing this all around the world. Switzerland's been in play for a couple years ago. They're actually, I would call them early adopters compared to most nation states and institutions. They've been accepting taxes in certain locations throughout Switzerland for, I think it's coming out to 3 years now. And they've even have a statue of, Satoshi Nakamoto, or where they don't show the face. It's still, kind of hidden, but in Lugano, I believe, Lugano or Luzerne, Switzerland, who also accepts Bitcoin as tax. They've got a statue over there of him that they erected last year sometime. So, if Switzerland is behind Bitcoin and the U.S. is behind Bitcoin and Russia is using Bitcoin to trade with India and China, which means that China and India obviously have some Bitcoins, maybe you and I should have some FOMO and make sure we're not left behind. It's our chance to front run the banks, at least. Some of the countries have already adopted it, but certainly we can front run the banks. And why not take a few bucks, dollar cost average into the thing? I've heard Michael Saylor say that if you have 0.1 Bitcoin, 10% of the Bitcoin, you're basically going to be set over the long run. And as we hear from many different sources, including Michael Saylor, including now even Trump is saying it, never sell your Bitcoin. Why? Because there's money everywhere, friends. Money is abundant. There's $900 trillion of assets in the world, so get some of that It's everywhere. What is not everywhere is your time. Time is scarce. Spend your time wisely. Spend less money than what you earn. If you suddenly start making more money, save more money. Don't start spending more money. Yay, I got a raise. I could spend more. No. Yay, you got a raise. You could save more. Yay, you paid your credit card off. You can now save more. Instead of putting the money toward your credit card, now you have that money that you can invest. Start investing and saving when you're young. Do it in your teens, do it in your 20s, and ideally you can retire when you're 40 or 45 and not when you're old and gray and not able to do the things you love anymore. And certainly if you have a great idea, start with your idea today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Even if you're not ready, start today and things will slowly come together for you. Remember, here at Crypto News Global, you're not only watching Crypto News Global, you are Crypto News Global. I am on a path to have 500 to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I would love if you join me on this journey by hitting that subscribe button. If you found this stream enjoyable, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining.